Hello everyone, Coach Carol here with a Canva design tutorial for you. This one is leaping straight into the use of templates to create a scrapbook for your family history. Now, if you're looking for beginner tutorials on how to get started in Canva, then you'll need to seek those in other places in my YouTube channel. This one is diving in at the level where we have the ability to use Canva to create this scrapbook. As you can see here on my Canva screen, there's so many elements to the home base that it can be confusing. So we'll chunk it down a little bit for you. You'll notice that I am on the home page here, which shows on the navigation bar on the left. Here in the middle are all my options. I can look immediately at my recent designs, and these are the ones for the scrapbooks, or I might want to try something new, create a doc, a whiteboard, a scrapbook, a photo book, and so on. It will remember the sorts of things that you create, and you can put them all into your projects. If you have a look here on the left, I'll click into my projects, and you'll see that I can categorize them and modify them, and all of them will show up on this page, as you can see now. When we want to start designing, we'll use the tool over here on the right called Create a Design. And if we just try that out now, we've got some options. We can create new, and we've got a doc, a whiteboard, a scrapbook, a photo book, a notebook, and many, many, many more. So it has quite a lot of different templates for you to work with. If you choose the scrapbook, it will tell you the size of it. If you want a photo book, that's a different size. So if we choose the scrapbook, it will start creating a brand new one. If we have already created one and we're coming back to make amendments, we can go to Edit Existing, and it will show you those that you've been working on. As you can see, there's a few here for my sample scrapbooks. So that's how you begin the template, to find the template. So what I thought I'd do is share with you a few of the templates that I thought would lend themselves best to creating a family history style scrapbook. And you'll see them all in these pages below. On the left-hand side, I've got it in the design mode, where you can see all the templates and any styles that go with them. And you can flip through those from top to bottom and see the ones that you've used recently. Some of them have multiple pages, as you can see this one that I'm hovering over. It has several pages to it. And some of these are the ones that I like to choose. But let's have a look at the samples below. This one has a nice aspect to it. It is easily adaptable. Each part of the page can be changed. As you can see, you can put in new images right there on the page. You can also put in any type of text that you want, and you can just type over what is already there. It has a few other embellishments on the page, like these little images. And because it's a template, all of those are in place, so you don't have to think about that. You can change the colors and the style of it, of course, but right now you want to get started. So that's one brand or template you could use. This next one has a different look to it in terms of how the photos are placed on the page. But once again, you can change any part of it. All of those are just things on top of the page. This one has a brighter background, and background is something you might want to think about to give the overall theme for your scrapbook. Once again, everything on the page is editable, and these are collections of templates, frames that we can use on a page for your photos. More about that in a moment. The next one looks more like an old photo album with photos stuck on with what looks like sticky tape. And this one has a darker background. And this one has a very bright aspect to it. Remember, all the pieces are changeable. Now, for the example that I'm going to share with you today, I have a mixture of this template, which is called the Farm Scrapbook, and this one back here, which is a more abstract. Let me now flip over to this one that I'm working on. And this is based on that farm template that you saw, but I've simply changed the background. When you click into the background area, you can right-click and detach the image from the background. So that was the image that I had placed in the background to give it a brand new look. Everything else was in place. I'll just back out of that one by undoing. In the next slide or page, I think now when I look at all the other pages, I've given it too bright a background. So I want to change this background. So right-click anywhere in the background, detach the image from the background, and then simply delete it. But now it's looking a bit plain. So maybe I need just a little touch of a background that matches the others. And you'll see that I've used a bit of a theme going through them, which has either horizontal or vertical lines, a bit like fence palings. So I want to use that in the background for this one. So I can go over here to my navigation bar and choose the background. It will show me all the backgrounds that I've recently used, which is really handy. I want to use this one for this page. And there we are. We've got a brand new background, which makes it fit in with the other pages more symmetrically. Now on these other pages, we've got an image and a little bit of text. And these are ideal if you just want to use this as a scrapbook with small pieces of narrative that could be a profile for your ancestor. By the way, these photos are not of my family. They are ones that I've chosen from Canva. So when I want to change an image, I can click on it and delete it. And you'll see in the background that it's left in place, this little frame. And if I put in a new image, it will place it on that same angle that I want for this page. So where do I get my images from? Well, back over here on the navigation bar, I can once again go to Elements, and I want to search for an older woman. And I need to make sure that it's a photo, not a graphic, because the graphics won't work with the frames over here. So choosing from the photos, I just want an image of an older woman. And there's the one that I chose before. And when I slide it over here to the frame, it automatically crops it and puts it into that background neatly. The pieces of writing are changeable. You can just go in and highlight it and make the change. On each of these other pages, I have a similar kind of look and feel. There's a photo and there's a bit of text. And for these, it's just going through the names of my siblings or the children born to my parents. And once again, these photos are not of my family. If I don't like that background again, I can simply change it. I have put in place a couple of different pages for the children in the family with slightly different backgrounds. And this is not me as a child, but it could be a real photo of myself at that age. But I might want to make a change to that and see what it will look like. So what I can do down here on this part of the canvas is right-click on the page and duplicate it. And it will give me 2 copies that I can work with now. And I might change the photo. And once again, come over here to my navigation bar and put in a request for a picture of a young girl and choose something a little different. This one looks like fun. So then sliding that into the frame puts it in place perfectly. I like that one better than this one. So I will now right-click and delete that page. So now I've got everything in place. I've got one for my dad. That's not him, by the way. And I will then put in a little bit of text about each of those people in my tree. Moving over here to these final pages, I'd like to add in a few of my own ancestral photos for both maternal and paternal ancestors. So you can see how I've arranged it with similar shapes in the background, but different colors. And each time I want to add a photo, I would then go to my uploads over here where I've got images of my ancestors somewhere in here. I'll just pop this one in place and sliding it into the frame puts him in place. So I work through these and design what the layout is to be and what imagery to put in place before I even think about putting any voiceovers to the story. Continuing on with the story, I want to talk about heirlooms from my family, such as my dad's camera or my mum's sewing machine. Another page will be talking about where we used to live, and another about the mementos that people in my family are in the habit or were in the habit of collecting. And then to wrap it up, I'll do a little bit of a summary of my research to find all the data on my ancestors and finish once again at the back of the scrapbook. If I want to make that slightly different, I can, clicking into the background here, I can flip it horizontally so that it's just showing the fence palings. And of course, now the text is too light, so I can change that by selecting it, choosing the color over here on my palette, making it bold if I can, doing the same again here. And so now the back page has a slightly different look. So that is how you can put together the layout of your scrapbook. I'll pause here because the next piece is all about getting the voiceover in place. Just before we go into recording my voice for this scrapbook story, a couple of things that you would do at this stage. Don't worry, everything is saved automatically in Canva. You don't have to find out where to save all this. It's automatically saved for you. And what you may want to do is to flip through the pages yourself and see what it looks like. So let's do that by first going to share and present. And then click on present. And now each page is filling the screen. So you can flip through now to see what your whole page looks like. And here you'll be checking for whether or not you've included your text here for your ancestors profile. And making sure you've got each child in the right order. And of course, making sure that the imagery is what you want for each slide. And of course, I've got a little bit to do in here still. But by flicking through it this way, you get a much larger view of your presentation. And there is the end of that one. You press escape on your keyboard and it brings you back to your drafting board. The next thing to note is this little fellow down here, which is your Canva assistant. And he's a piece of AI and he's really useful. So if you want to click into that, just push this out of the way. Canva Assistant will quickly access anything and get recommendations or search with that one magical button, as it says here. There's some things that we might want to go into, one of which might be to simply add a text box on the page that we're currently in, which is down here. Or we could go immediately to the share button to share our design with other people. And yes, of course, there's more. There's graphics to match your design and photos that will match your design as well. So keep that in mind. You can go to the Canva Assistant at any time on any page by clicking on this little button here. Right, the next step is to do the voiceover. So we need to go back to the beginning of our presentation. Push that one out of the way. Go to your share button once again. Oh, and by the way, if you want to just share this as a link, you can do that. So anyone with a link can view, or if you want to work collaboratively, you can give them access to edit it. And then you'd simply copy the link to your clipboard. What I want to do is show you how you can now add your narrative, your own voiceover to your slides. I'll only be able to do part of this today because it won't allow me to record my voice in two places at once, but you'll get the idea. So this time you click on present and record. And you'll notice here it tells you you can record yourself while talking over a presentation. And then you can share the video link with your friends. First of all, you go to the recording studio where you begin to set things up. And the setup includes choosing your camera and your microphone. Now, it won't allow me to add my camera again because I'm using it in Zoom, but you'll see how it's chosen the actual microphone that I'm using at the moment, and you can see how my voice is recording here. If I slide down, I could then begin my recording and my image will appear in a little circle and you'll hear me recording this story. I'll go back to editing because I'm unable to do both whilst in Zoom. So have a go for yourself. If you're wanting to see what I've done with another of my examples here, this is my Right Family Tree scrapbook. And I've already recorded this one. So in order to share that with you so that you can view it, I've also uploaded it to YouTube. But I will put the link for you to view it in Canva underneath this video tutorial. So I'll just click that one, copy that to the clipboard. So this one is done in the exact same way as I showed you, but different layouts, different colors, different images, and different ways of telling this story, which covers the generations of my ancestors from my grandmother, Harriet, looking backwards in her time. So that's how you would use Canva to create your scrapbook. And then to create your digital story, you would simply record your voice over the top. So I do hope you've enjoyed this journey into my family history scrapbooks using Canva, and I'll be back with more later.